Let's start with a classic. That was awesome. Oh, I love that video so much. Been a while. Had to bring that one back. Welcome back. Welcome back to Leafs Late Night. I'm your host, Roscoe, joined by Steph the Fanalist and Galaxy Biehn over here. How's it going, gang?
It's been so long.
It's been so long.
It has
I don't know
been.
what song
It's been
I was
a
going
while.
for there. What's anything interesting happened that we want to bring up before we talk about hockey things?
Oh, lots of stuff, but I don't know if we want to get into everything.
Well, I mean, you know,
Life.
anything we'd like to share. I know life has been crazy for all of us. I mean, I just got back from Quebec City. That was an interesting little trip. Sadie and I spent some late nights in an arcade in the middle of nowhere north of Quebec City. I don't know. Basically, we were in a hotel and everything was closed, and the only thing they let us hang out in overnight was an arcade. So I spent more money than I will care to admit on a claw game that I won nothing on. Only because one person on our crew won something, and I was like, oh, if one person won something, then it must be doable.
They are impossible.
The thing that she won was an Ernie doll from Sesame Street, but its head was on backwards.
What?
And the tag was Bio Sesame or something, or Barrio Sesame. I don't know. It was like Spanish. Whatever
Wish?
it is, and it looks like something that came off of Wish. What is Sesame Street in Spanish? Because it was that.
Wow.
I honestly have no idea. That is something I never thought anybody would ever ask me.
Sesame Street Spanish is Spanish for Barrio Sesamo. Yeah, that's what it said on the tag. So I thought that was, and like literally, we first thought just his feet were backwards, but then it's like, oh no, the hands are too. So is this? Oh no, it's just his head that's backwards. It's the strangest thing I've ever seen, and something you could only find in a claw machine.
My
Needless
life.
to say, I wanted something that was equally as broken, and there was a Superman doll I had my eye on who was twisted, but alas.
As a parent of a young child, stay away from the claw games because they are impossible.
They are, man. The other one we got into was the punching game. I will go no further into detail on that. It was the one with the boxing thing, and it tells you a number. The basketball one was also popular, and some skee ball, but otherwise, man, arcade games have not improved much over our lifetime. Like, of all the technological advancements we've seen in gaming, arcades are still pretty much the same as they were in 2005, and I'm kind of sad about that. I was expecting more.
So we've recently had a little family getaway at the Americana in Niagara. Basically a different version of Great Wolf Lodge, which is a little more affordable, and depending on the age of your kid, it's actually better. And they have a little arcade there, and so we played there a little bit, and sadly enough, I spent most of my time at Flappy Bird, if you guys remember that.
Oh, yeah.
My fave.
They had a world's largest Pac-Man board. It's just like a giant tablet, basically, you can play Pac-Man on. Or like Mario and Sonic at the 2016 Olympic Games. So it was showing its age a little bit. But yeah, this place was kind of similar. They had a big indoor water park and tobogganing stuff. And it's a pretty cool place up in Valcartier.
My life has been pretty lame recently, but when you bring up arcade games, man, this is something I love to do. We go to Palladium often and just, I don't know, just have fun. Like, better than losing your money at a casino sometimes or whatever. And saving up all of those coins or points, and now I have so many. But my favorite, it's always like Flappy Bird or trying to stay alive in some sort of game, or like the piano one or something. Trying to get everything super accurate, and yeah, I don't know, good times.
Yeah, there's one here. If you guys ever make it out to Ottawa, we should go to Fun Haven because they have a bunch of arcade games, and there's an indoor roller coaster and laser tag, and you can get drinks there, and they will give you triples and a slushie. It's awesome.
Wow.
It's like, imagine a Chuck E. Cheese, like pizzeria kind of diner thing in the middle of an arcade where you can walk up and be like, yeah, can I get a slice of pizza and one of those slush puppy things? But yeah, take that Bacardi rum behind you and pour half that bottle into it, and they'll be like, "Here you go." It's fantastic.
Sounds like the US when I was in Orlando. You literally bring your drink everywhere you go in the arcades and no one cared. They were just going wild. I'm like, okay, welcome to USA.
I think Quebec's the same because when I went to the bar in the hotel, they're like, "Do you want that for here or to go?" I was like, "What do you want to go? I can just walk away with this?" They're like, "Yeah, you can go up to your room, go to wherever you want, go for it." I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ontario's
we were.
so stuck up with that kind of thing.
Ugh, I know. Like we were debating on bringing a drink into this Ferris wheel, and then we go to the line of the Ferris wheel, and there's a bar at the end of the line. I'm like, guys, you looking to make money? Man, you're missing this stuff in Ontario. But hey, I think you can drink at Wonderland now openly. Believe it or not,
Oh,
it's been a
cool.
while since I've been there, but
Well,
yeah,
That
we're
sounds like a bad
advocating
idea.
for drinking, but you know, it's just more fun. The last thing I want to say about Quebec City is on the way in and out of the town, we passed the Videotron Coliseum, and oh my god, just you can see it from every part of the city because as you go up into Old Quebec, you're on a hill, and just
Mhm.
standing downtown, you can look out across the river and you see this massive white dome just protruding above all the buildings, and it's like, God, they need a team.
Yeah.
It just looks so perfect, man. It's huge and it's gorgeous. Oh, man, I can't
Aw.
believe it's for a Q team. All right.
In
Well,
Canada, we do hockey arenas, right?
let's start the show.
Hi, this is Mike Ross, public address announcer for your Toronto Maple Leafs, and this is the Leafs Late Night Podcast, your post-game destination. And now, your starting lineup: Roscoe, the Fanalist, Southey, Biehn, and Darty Brodeur on the Leafs Late Night Podcast.
Oh, boyo. So, another little thing to touch on. Let's talk about arenas first. So, I was all year thinking about going to an Ottawa 67s game, and whilst out for dinner, my girlfriend and I decided let's go for it. The tickets are only like $20.
Nice.
Did not realize that it was going to be game one of round one of the playoffs by the time I go to get tickets. So the 67s finished first place in their division, I believe, and they would be taking on the Oshawa Generals in round one. So Steph, do we want to put a little wager on this round?
Why not? Right?
Since this is our hometowns, we're fighting each other off here. So what
Love
do we think?
it.
What do we think?
In the spirit of John Tavares, this team is going to captain their way to a win, and we must wager. I don't know, anything. I honestly don't follow the OHL closely, so I don't even know how well they've been doing all year long, but I don't know.
Till the game is on Thursday, so for our next episode, we'll come up with a bet. Okay, deal?
Sure, or someone send us ideas because clearly I'm drawing a blank, but I'm down.
Cool. So what I found kind of strange when I went to buy the tickets was they're playing at the Slush Puppy Center. And I was like, wait, what? There's a Slush Puppy Center? It's in Gatineau, and why are they playing there? So apparently the men's curling worlds are on at the TD Place downtown Ottawa, where the 67s normally play, because they don't play at the Canadian Tire Center. They play downtown in a very accessible arena. Anyway, so because it's accessible, it's also busy. So they're getting kicked out for the first couple games. I think it's only the first 3 or 4. But they'll be playing at the brand new, as of I think last year, Slush Puppy Center that was built as the new home of the Gatineau Olympique.
Very nice.
Who moved out of the Richard Gartin Arena, I think. I've been there before, and holy, so we were filming out in Gatineau, and we used it as like our holding space. And I was walking around it. It looked like an arena from like, Coburg, like just a random community center arena. And there's all these banners on the wall that say Gatineau Olympique. I'm like, wait, this is their arena? Come on. This is a little sad. So I looked into it, and apparently they've been fighting for a while to get either a new one built on the same spot or another one built. And finally they got this like $70 million arena. dropped just on the other side of town. So
Hmm.
looking forward to seeing what the Slush Puppy Center looks like.
One
wanna
thing
see
I
the
will
mascot.
say, if I don't know if you guys have been to OHL playoff games before.
Nope, never been to an OHL game.
Nope.
An OHL game ever?
Nope, never.
My dear God, man. So way long
From
time
Coburg,
ago.
what game would I have been to?
Any of them, that doesn't matter. A ways ago, I was trying to impress a young woman, and so I bought a lot of tickets to London Knights games because she was a big time Knights fan, and that just so happens that was the years that Kadri was on the team.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
So I saw him play for the Knights, I would have to guess about 7 times. And some of them were playoff games as well. And the atmosphere is just incredible. Like, absolutely incredible, because these kids are playing for their futures. And the fans, they don't have to spend a fortune to get the tickets. So the games are accessible to everybody. True fans,
Nice.
young kids, people who can't go to regular NHL games, right? So
Would it be weird if I wear a Leafs jersey?
absolutely not, because people wear, like, I don't think so, because at junior games, people wear any and all kinds of jerseys you can think of.
Okay, I wasn't sure because I mean, you could have guys on the team. Like I've looked into it. Some of them, their favorite teams are the Leafs, and like they have a defenseman who says he models himself after Morgan Riley. So like, I kind of want to see these guys. Be fun. And then I'm gonna go out and see a Newfoundland Growlers game. This is gonna be cool. Hopefully, if they're still playing.
Oh yeah, they are. I told you they have a triple header that weekend.
Right.
That you're out there.
Wow.
I'm on top of this for you. Come on, man.
Well. So that'll be fun. In other Ottawa Arena news, Gary Bettman has now said, after saying we would expect the sale within days, it's now going to be midsummer. So a midsummer arena's dream. So it seems the good thing that to come out of this announcement is that Bettman says they're not expecting the city to fork over any money for this. It's going to be all on whoever buys the team. If they're going to move the arena, that they got to pay for it themselves. So I think that's good because you're looking at...
Whoa.
What?
Bettman's okay with the team paying for something themselves? Come on now.
I think he recognizes that it's a bit of a situation here in Ottawa that he's got to be gentle with. And if, you're going to bring in big money from out of town and a big name and everything, they're going to expect them to front the bill. I mean, it's a government city. They're not going to fork over money for a hockey team. Come on.
It's all in the news right now about the vote coming up in Tempe. That's all. So I
know. It's nuts.
Had to rip on that.
It's such a weird, opposite situation for a very similar built franchise, I guess, in terms of the number. I don't know. Anyway, so arena may or may not be in Loretton Flats. He said it's going to be up to whoever buys it. They can look into other situations because other things were investigated when Melnick and his partner that he was fighting with were trying to move it. So I don't know. We'll see where it ends up. Loretton Flats is right in front of the War Museum. For anybody who's not familiar, it's where they do Blues Fest. It's kind of a useful open space downtown that obviously a lot of developers would be interested in, but it's good for festivals and things to be right in the middle of the city. So it'd be kind of a shame to lose it.
I saw a theory today on Twitter that someone suggested since the draft is before the Tempe vote, the draft will declare the outcome of the vote. So if Bedard goes to Arizona, then they will vote for Tempe. But if not, then that is the end.
Honestly, anything in the top 3 is probably going to be franchise altering for these teams. So, I don't want to put too much on Bedard. I think if anybody, honestly, Arizona's going to be fine. They're starting to really give teams a run for their money. They just went to a shootout the other day with Colorado. I think that team's going to be fine, especially with all the draft picks they have.
For some reason, Arizona's always had Colorado's number, though. A couple years, I don't know if it was last year. It might have been the year before. And Colorado lost Arizona. I think it was 2 or 3 times in the same season.
Yeah, but I mean, just look at how they've been performing just in this last quarter of the season. Like, these kids are going to be okay. You know,
Ingram holding down the fort.
it's more the management and ownership situation that's just kind of a dumpster fire. Like the players on the ice that they've put together, like at least the kids that they've drafted are all promising.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Nick Ritchie's playing well there.
Nick Ritchie's not there anymore.
Oh yeah, he got traded for his brother. I forgot about that.
The Richie Bros.
Okay, so before we get into Leafs, let's start with a question here. The classic from Chris Hurley. This is I got to make a theme song for this because it's going to be a new segment. Start one, bench one, cut one. This is fast food ice cream treats: Frosty, McFlurry, and Blizzard. Ooh, oh, Chris, this is tough. I didn't even look at this one before because I wanted to go into it blind with you guys. This is really hard.
It's got to be start Blizzard, bench McFlurry, and cut Frosty. Got to be.
This is really hard.
Frosties
I don't
are
disagree with that. Frosties are on their own, but you dip fries in it.
Who the
No.
dips fries into ice cream?
Well,
You're doing
it's
it
a
wrong.
thing, but
You're
who
up
gets
too close to
Frosties
the
anymore?
Shout out to my Kim Possible people. You know what I'm talking about.
I can't even remember the last time I had a Frosty. It's not even a thought in my head. I'm going to go get a Frosty. No.
Wendy's is the closest drive-through to my house, to be fair. Besides Starbucks, but I don't fucking go to Starbucks drive-through. It's like $25. Literally, last time I went there, I got it was 2 drinks and a really mediocre sandwich that was just like a ciabatta with a microwaved piece of chicken on it, and I was like, how is this $22.80? Like, what did I just? I'm not doing this again. This is stupid. Anyway.
Honestly, you gotta also weigh the factors here. Like, do you want to spend $10 on a Blizzard, or do you want to go to McDonald's, which is probably closer for a fraction of the price, and honestly, just as
The
good?
price, and the machine is always broken.
No, it's not. Not here.
Yes, it is.
Good point. Good point.
That's because everybody in Ottawa can afford to go to Starbucks instead of McDonald's.
Okay, this is actually interesting because for the first time in my life, I have probably equidistant a Dairy Queen and a McDonald's. So I have actually been to Dairy Queen like once or twice in the last 2 months, 3 months since I've lived here. Blizzards are really expensive now. Like, I remember being a kid going to Reed's Dairy getting a Toonie Tornado. Nah, Blizzards are like $8. And honestly, I'm with Steph on this. Like, if you can get like a Smartie McFlurry and get some like caramel sauce in that, or like the Oreo one with caramel, yeah, I'm fine. Like, it's all fake ice cream anyway with fucking sauce and candy in it. Like, what's the difference? I don't need it to taste like a fake pumpkin pie or like some cherry cheesecake thing. It's probably not going to be that great anyway.
Obviously, the quality is there for Dairy Queen, and I appreciate Dairy Queen. They're my go-to for every birthday cake. I do not get anything else. Everyone knows this. I don't even eat my birthday cake half the time. It's usually in the freezer like for a couple months, and I appreciate it later. Or a treats pizza. But honestly, the last couple of times I've been a little disappointed, and I'm like, damn, I just spent $25 on 2 Blizzards, and I'm like, has it really been what it used to be? You know, like those memories. And when you have that Oreo with caramel McFlurry for a deal, 2 for $5 or 2 for whatever on your phone, you're like, oh, that hits the spot, and I'm enjoying this. It's hard. I love them both. I do, but my wallet likes McDonald's better.
Yeah, I'm gonna go start McFlurry, bench Blizzard just on price point to like, how much better a Blizzard is, and we'll cut Frosty just because you got to add fries for me to get one. I'm not gonna eat one on its own. I'm usually like not eating the second half of it once I run out of fries. So
I will start Blizzard because you get more toppings. There's more things you can add to it. It's not just your basic like McDonald's. I do appreciate the price at McDonald's, but at the end of the day, if you go with quality, okay, I'm going to start the Blizzard, bench the McFlurry, and definitely cut the Frosty, guys. Like, what's the point of the Frosty there? It's just plain ice cream, in my opinion.
Like they just walked me into, being on the same team here. McFlurries, there's so many better. Like you just laid out all of the points of why it's better than a Blizzard, and then you're like, yeah, I'm gonna start Blizzard. Like,
I'm open-minded.
That
was hard.
Hang you out by yourself.
That was hard. No, I appreciate your choice, and I was surprised you actually agreed with me on that.
Well, no, because honestly, like usually when I go to Dairy Queen, the thing that turns me off of it, granted it's not the Blizzard, it's like the care that goes into making their sandwiches and burgers and stuff is just like not there. They're oversauced, or like there's stuff like falling off of it when I open it up, and it's like when the tomatoes like off on the side of the burger and like it's all falling apart. I feel like that happens every time I go to Dairy Queen. It might just be the one that's near me and I'm biased, but when you get that and a Blizzard, it's like I'm not enjoying this as much because I'm mad about everything else.
Guys,
that's why you don't buy a burger from an ice cream place.
Thank you. No, why the hell are you getting fast food at Dairy Queen? First of all, like I do not go to Dairy Queen and think I'm gonna get French fries. Like no,
their onion rings are good. Their chicken fingers are good. Like
I didn't even know they sold that shit until like 5 years ago.
Y'all are missing out though. Some of those stuff's good. Just don't get the burgers with like a ton of sauce on them. Like the flamethrower one's overrated.
It will never cross my mind. Thanks though.
Again, just leaving me out here to dry.
I'm sorry. I'm cool. There's better options out there. Like at least go to McDonald's for that shit. Start McDonald's on that.
Okay, so let's make a really hard turn into hockey for a sec. So I was watching the Nashville game and switching back and forth between the American and Canadian broadcast, and it was really fun to watch on the American because they're talking about all the weapons the Leafs have and how dangerous of a team they are on the power play, and how Nashville's really going to have to lock down defensively if they're going to stop the Leafs from just running away with the score on this one. And then when that stream cracked out, I went over to the Sportsnet one, and they said that Nashville's a really heavy hitting team, and the Leafs are going to have to deal with basically just getting outsized on this one. And they're only 3 for 11 on the power play, which works out to just under 30%, as they show on the screen, that just under 30% where the Leafs are currently sitting is third in the league for the power play. So basically stating something as though it's bad while showing that it is third overall in the league, and somehow making that seem like a negative. Am I missing something here?
No, that's sorry, Steph. That's
go
the
ahead.
mainstream sports media in Canada. Like that is how it always is. You can never have anything good. It's always got to be doom and gloom.
Yeah, like that puts them at a 27, just under 28% power play. Like the Leafs power play is third overall at like 28.5 or something. Like they're only 3 for 11. That's exactly how good they are. Yep, you're stating it as though it's a bad thing, but guess what? They're good, and they're still good, and would be first place in the West if they were in the Western Conference.
I also watched the away feed for 2 out of 3 games that we missed this weekend, and just for the Nashville game for a sec, you bring up the power play. They would not shut the fuck up about how much our power play costs. Like, and then they put up a graphic saying our Leafs PP1 was 48 mil, and their whole roster they skated that night was 42.73 mil.
Oh, and did John Tavares score 2 power play goals, or did he not?
Yes. So
he's washed, guys.
Washed.
No, just curious. That would put them at, what were they, 2 for 3 on the night? Yeah.
Keep in mind,
Horrible.
Yossi is injured. That's a $9 million player. You have Saros who's sat. He's 5 mil. Forsberg's been injured majority of the year, 8.5. Like the way they were saying it, it was just like, damn, like I used to be real hard on our PP1 because it's like when they're not generating, of course you bring up the dollar signs, but they were distracting for the majority of the game. They would not shut the fuck up about it. I don't know.
I'm glad. Keep doing it because it jinxes apparently the game into some great power plays. Also, it's funny. I knew Matthias Ekholm was on Edmonton, but I kind of forgot the other side of that, and that Tyson Barrie is on Nashville now. What a weird fit for him.
Right. But it's like, it looks like it's working. It looks like he's producing offense just from the eye test alone from that single game. But
oh yeah, it's
I
some
don't
good
know.
looks.
Yeah.
He had some good what, Johnny?
Some good looks.
I heard larks. I was like,
Oh.
what? Maybe I'm going crazy. Offense has never been Tyson Barrie's weak point. Like he's always had that anywhere he's gone. But
Yeah.
He looked better with them last night than he did for the majority of his time as a Leaf.
Yeah, but I mean, like Steph mentioned, Roman Yossi's out, and you got a couple of these guys down that could bump him out of that spot, and that's typically where you see Tyson Barrie start to struggle, is where he's not the guy that the team is leaning on for all of their offense on the back end. So if he gets bumped to PP2 and maybe not seeing the same offensive minutes, then might be in the same situation that every team seems to find themselves in with him.
Yeah. But if it wasn't for this power play, it was the difference maker for us during this Nashville game. Without those 2 power play goals, nothing was really happening. I mean, that Kerfoot goal in the second period, that kind of came out of nowhere, but how nice was that? Oh my God.
Snipe.
Being fed in the neutral zone and for him to just rush in and straight shoot it in, something we've been like wanting all season long, for him to finally, sink one. And, the Florida game, first one in 26 games, and then to come back 2 games later and do it again. It's nice. These guys activating at this point in the season.
That Kerfoot goal and a couple of Yarncroke's goals recently, it's like, holy cow, they have totally like benefited from playing with Matthews a lot lately.
Oh yeah, that shot does not come from your third line guys on any other team. No. Like that's insane.
It's like shot by osmosis. Hey, we can shoot like that. Let's try it.
Yeah. So the thing that we were talking about with Kerfoot, though, I mean, everybody's complaining about him being up on the first line, but like we talked about, they're trying to just give him these opportunities to get his offense going again. We saw him get that goal that got called back. Then he scores in the shootout, and it's like since then it's just been uphill or downhill, uphill. Which one's easier?
Yeah,
it's been playing better.
Excuse me. It's interesting to note too, right? In the Florida game, the Carolina game, Leafs went 11-7 with the roster, and then the Nashville game, they're back to 12-6. We see Wayne Simmons draw back in, and Liljegren is the guy who gets cut after a few too many whiffs of the stick, unfortunately, in this Carolina game. It's just guys you want to see succeed at this point in time, like Kerfoot, like Yarncroke, Liljegren, right? We need to secure your spot in our D-core because it's so easy to lose it. And anyone's going to sit, like Morgan Riley during Florida, a couple bumps and bruises. He's too tired. Okay, daddy, you're just going to sit tonight. So, yeah.
Can I touch on Lily there for a minute?
So, yeah.
I love Lily. I was a big Sandine fan as well. We've talked about this many, many times.
We know.
But it's important for a lot of Leafs fan to sit back and think and realize you can have both things happening simultaneously. Liljegren can use this season to prove that he is an effective NHL defenseman who is going to be a key part of the Leafs blue line in future years. At the same time, he can also show that, hey, he's been playing kind of shitty lately, and he's playing himself out of the starting defense rotation for the playoffs. You can have those two things at the same time.
Yeah, and I think when you have 9 serviceable NHL defensemen, the bar is so high where it's you don't get that leash of a couple games. It's, you make a couple mistakes and all right, we're going to try somebody else out. It's not, a punishment per se. It's just, all right, well, someone else gets the chance tonight. Oh
And
shit.
and it's
Keeps them
actually,
on their toes.
yeah, it's rubbing off on some of the other guys. Like look at Justin Hall laying a big hit. Where was
Oh.
that?
Oh, so nice. And honestly, there was the one play, I don't remember who it was with, but I think it was David Kampf and Yarncrow maybe, but I think shorthanded. Hall came in and broke up a play, forced everybody to the other end, kept the puck in at the blue line on the rebound and everything, got a shot off. Like the whole chance happened because of Justin Hall, and was like, oh, all right, Halsey, let's go.
Yeah, and I think Liljegren's getting his chances, right? In the Florida game, he's right there in the lineup. During the Canes game, he's as listed as the 7th D. He's moving a little down, and then unfortunately gets healthy scratch the next game. And I don't know, what point do you put it? Do you just keep rotating guys? Because there was also a notice that Timmins was supposed to draw back in the lineup during the Carolina game after Shin was supposed to be a scratch, and then his opportunity was denied, and he hasn't played since February 24th. So do you want to get him in at all, or?
Yeah, I like Timmins has been good. It's just I can't, like, if you're ranking everybody, he just unfortunately finds himself at the bottom just because of how little we've gotten to see of him. And I think that's all it comes down to. I think if anybody gets hurt, he's definitely going to see some ice time. But otherwise, what do you think?
I don't even know about that. Like, really, with the acquisition of Gustafsson, I kind of think that basically assured that unless there's multiple injuries, we're not going to see Timmins. Because at this point in time, Gustafsson's basically a veteran black ace. If you look at the defensemen, how they've been utilized since they've been here, he seems to be the odd one out because Keefe loves Hall. And then I imagine, even though Lily's been playing bad, I think he would probably be one of the first call-ins. So you have Lily and Gustafsson waiting.
That's fair.
True.
Nothing against Timmins. He signed beyond this year. So like he's definitely part of the team's plans, especially with the uncertainty with Hall. Like who knows what the roster is going to look like next year once you factor in salary cap complications and everything like that. So he's definitely there for the years to come because he was a valued prospect. As you found out recently, Roscoe, he was part of the trade to get Kemper out of Arizona.
Yeah. I keep finding trades that happened before COVID, and I'm like, how did it, like, my brain just like doesn't, like, Pionk for Trouba, I forgot about that one.
The fact that you didn't know that the Habs traded Sergachev for Drouin blows my mind.
It's just things that,
You know, the Leafs traded a first-round pick for Phil Kessel, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Had to be an accident.
Wasn't it Tyler Seguin?
It was a couple first-round picks, Seguin and Hamilton.
Yeah. Anyway.
Damn. Well, this weekend, since we were on the road, I couldn't help but notice these national anthems and
oh Lord,
how much they were butchered. Because Florida, it wasn't obvious to everyone that this guy Ryan James did not know the lyrics to "O Canada."
Wasn't it Ryan Michael James? Like, was it like 3 first names? I remember was the whole joke.
No idea who this guy is, but
first of all, I just want to say Florida did a really great job of Pride Night. They just didn't do a great job of picking a Pride. There was there no other gay singer in Florida? In Miami? Like, this was the best singer. Like, I'm sorry. Come on, guys. You did, everything else was so well done. They did such a great job. All the things they were posting, all the different people they brought out. I don't have it all in front of me, but like look it up if you're interested. It all looked awesome. And yes. This is who they picked.
So this performance caught so much attention, especially with the post and the selfie mirror saying 1 hour before, still learning or still practicing "O Canada" or whatever he said. He was invited to the Ross and Mocha show, Kiss 92. 5 on the radio, and he said that he was a replacement and got the notice 2 hours before, and he was also promised that the lyrics would be on screen. I find this to be bullshit, because even if you are candidate to sing the national anthems, I think that's the bare minimum requirement to know the lyrics.
But guys, what is this? What am I holding in my hand?
Right? Your phone.
Yeah,
but
what is the easiest thing to do is look up the lyrics. Like how, like that is, and the worst part about it is, it was taken care. It was handled better in Toronto singing the American national anthem than it was handled there when the mics quit.
Yeah.
Even if he had the words in front of him, he didn't know the melody.
No, it was brutal. You don't even know what he was singing. He couldn't even recover. Thank God for all the snowbirds in the audience, like saving the day, Leafs Nation, because this guy didn't even know the tune. It
was embarrassing, man. It's just...
My favorite part is when it immediately turns into an audition when the US anthem comes on, because it happened all 3 nights. They just give it their best shot and belt out the lyrics like this ultimate performance, and then they do the Canadian national anthem and you're like, what the fuck was that?
My dad is always a fan of the when they do free at the end, and the free, and they like do the second note up. It's like, oh yes,
right, carry it
when you just overdo it. Oh, you guys have seen Fergie's, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Do yourself a favor and go watch the time that Fergie sang the national anthem at, I think it was an NBA game, and did her own rendition of it.
Oh boy,
lovely.
But those Pride jerseys actually were beautiful, like you were saying, Roscoe. And one wish I had, right? Like, why can't we purchase the Pride jersey? We can purchase the cancer ones, the military ones. We cannot purchase the Pride ones. I mean, they're up for auction, which is great, but why not pump a few out? The Stahl brothers that night, I mean, they were the ultimate talk as you're watching the hockey game, and you kind of went like, yes, when things didn't go their way. But I want to buy the jersey, man. Like, you want people to just support and get in on this? Like, make them accessible.
By the way,
yeah, because
sorry, Johnny, talking about the jerseys, if you haven't seen them yet, look up the Calgary Flames ones.
Oh, they're so nice too.
I was gonna say the Vancouver Canucks have my favorite one so far, and I would totally get one of those.
Yeah.
So,
and
and just one more quick thing. I know we've talked about it like to no end, and you know we're all pretty much in agreement with the players who are standing up against all this for no good reason. There's not a single good reason to do it. As far as I'm concerned, yes, players have their own beliefs. They can believe what they want. If you're not going to wear the jersey for warm up, you should not be playing that game, and you should not be getting paid for that game. End of discussion.
And I just want to shout out at Flyers Witch on Twitter, who's the one who designed the Canucks Pride jersey. I'm just gonna this one, super cool. So yeah, go give Mio the Witch at Flyers Witch a follow, and check out some really cool different designs, because they do a bunch of the Pride posters and advertisements for NHL teams.
Yeah, and especially you see these artists literally, I don't know, pouring their heart and soul into these jerseys, and we can't purchase them. Come on. It just drives me crazy. But anyways, the 6-2 win was great against Florida Panthers. I gotta say, it was the Poppy show that night. Bunting scoring in his 150th game as a Leaf was also nice. And I think the one thing that Leafs Nation was shocked about, besides the pride and the anthem and all this outside drama, the Leafs finally got their first 5-on-3 power play. It took 71 games, guys, to get their first 5-on-3 power play.
That is just how,
right?
Batman was pissed.
Yeah.
I saw somebody I saw somebody break this down on Twitter, and it just kind of comes down to the way that the Leafs play. Like they're not a team that forces that kind of play. Like the way that Tampa plays, for example, they draw and give out a lot of penalties, whereas the Leafs don't commit a lot of infractions. So the way that games are called, there's not as many even up calls. Like they're not trying to give the Leafs things because they're not taking as many either. So it comes down to the way that they play, honestly.
Yeah.
It comes
Totally
down to
agree.
the officiating epidemic that we're seeing. Mike Johnson.
Yeah, it doesn't excuse it.
No,
because it just comes down to the way that the game's officiated, right?
Like Mike Johnson, I reference him a lot. I love his takes on a lot of things, and he has a very good way of looking at it. Yes, you don't want, like, okay, everybody said, oh, playoffs, overtime, whatever. Oh, let them play. Well, yes and no. Because if it's a call in the first period of a regular season game in October, you should expect it to be a call in the final minute of the third period in a playoff game in the spring. And whether you call it or not, the refs are influencing the game. So, like, you got to be careful what you wish for, because then you're having teams that are trying to build a team for 2 different seasons, which just completely is nonsense.
Well, and if the whole idea is you're trying to encourage goals by not stopping the game with these plays, it's like, well, does the big goal matter if the other team is screaming about the high stick that happened 4 seconds before it that wasn't called?
Yeah.
So the goal shouldn't have happened in the first place. Like, I don't think it's achieving the same outcome that they're looking for. No. I mean, look, we just heard 30 for 30. We're going to have a whole documentary on the 2011 riots in Vancouver. So that should be interesting.
Yeah.
Just to see how maybe calling things properly would just be a good way to go about your sport, but who knows?
Speaking of calls, in this Carolina game, I was very surprised to see the goal go our way when Matthews got a goal, but it was after the whistle. And the play was stopped, the refs reviewed it, and it was determined that Toronto got the goal. The Bally Sports commentators were livid. They were going off on the broadcast, and yeah.
So I missed this. What happened?
So basically, the ref lost sight of the puck. The ref, if you're looking at the front of the net, the ref is over on your left-hand side. Bunting is directly out front. Matthews just a little bit to the right of him. And the puck's there. The ref loses sight of it. It is still blatantly loose. Bunting gets the puck, passes it to Matthews, and as the pass, like after the puck leaves his stick, just after it leaves his stick, the ref blows the whistle thinking that it was covered, and Matthews buries it. So technically, this is the right call, but it's one of those things that you almost never see get called properly, because then there is a gray area. I honestly think if the whistle had went before the pass from Bunting, they wouldn't have allowed it. But the fact that the pass was already made, and basically it was just Matthews getting the puck and shooting, that they said, nope, that's continuation, because the play was still live. I lost sight of the puck, blew it down. Like, they didn't even have to go to review right away. They talked to each other on the ice and called it a good goal on the ice right away. And then they reviewed it, but like to make sure. Yeah. But
the timing.
Okay. Yeah. Should have done like that ref in that clip that was going around. You see where he dove on top of the net to keep an eye on the puck?
Well, technically,
I think.
Like,
did you guys see this one? So the puck is in a scramble in front of the net, and the ref literally just like full force dives Superman style on top of the net to just look straight down on the line to see if you could see the puck. And I thought it was hilarious.
Nice.
John Boy shared it on Instagram. Go check it out.
Nice. But this Carolina game, guys, Matthews getting his career high in shots, 15. Cray. And another thing, this 5-on-3 coming back to haunt us right off the bat. Brent Burns scoring on the power play, and the Leafs go down 2 in the first period. So when this goal for Matthews went in, I think Leafs Nation was super hyped because we tied it up. It's 3-3 in the third period. But shit, I didn't even have time to finish my tweet because Sebastian Aho scores. And shit just hits the fan because Leafs win a total of 15-45, or Carolina without a shot in the second period. Leafs had 17 shots up on them and momentum was in their favor, but I don't know, it was tied in the third and things just fell apart. And we're like, oh, what's going on here?
So
Unfortunately.
it's crazy that Matthews had 15 shots on his own, because if I remember the numbers correctly, Carolina this season is allowing on average 23 shots against a game.
Yeah, they were talking about some games where they've held opponents to like 16 or 18 shots.
Yeah.
That is insane. I think the Leafs had that 18 shot game and they said this was the lowest they've had all season. So just that contrast between, a team that can come out with 50 shots in one night and a team that holds them to 16. So
44-28
on his own.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it looks like Freddie's going to have to find a new home next year with Kochetkov playing like that.
Ooh,
He's
yes.
good, man.
So good. He was a fantasy steal at one point in time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. But even though the Leafs lost, Keefe came out and said that he thought in a lot of ways that was their best game of the season. I think he's referring to, how the Leafs can come back and, I don't know, just hold down the fort, even though they didn't, because he had another quote saying, he thought Matt Murray did a good job for them, but of course it's difficult to win in any sort of regularity if you have to score more than 4. So Matt's got to find a way to keep 1 or 2 out. And it's true, there were a couple hot and ready pizzas and he wasn't tight on the wraparound and letting in so many, but honestly, it wasn't all on him. I don't know. What were you thinking on that, Biehn?
I don't know. Like, we're getting to the garbage time of the season again, right?
Yeah.
Like, Florida is literally battling for a wild card spot. That game's hard to put up to anything. Nashville's kind of just in the same situation, I think.
Speaking of Florida,
I was just checking too.
What?
With the loss tonight, the Leafs officially clinched a playoff spot.
Oh,
Whoop,
shit!
Sens win 5-2.
Yep.
Florida sucks.
Oh, that
Let's
X
go,
looks
Ottawa.
nice.
Yo, Ottawa has had some nice little situations for themselves, where when the Leafs beat Florida, they beat Tampa. So they got that game up on Florida, and now they beat Florida. So, damn, Ottawa might actually claw themselves into this.
They're 5 points behind Pittsburgh for the second wild card spot, but they played one more game. So they have 8 more to do it.
Look at this from Doodling Daryl on Instagram.
Nice.
Clinging to Pride Rock playoffs there.
I think that's still too soon for some of us 90s kids.
Oh, I know, right?
So one thing that I kind of noticed when the Seattle Kraken won with 7+ goals. So this from last Saturday until this just past Saturday, Boston, Vegas, the Rangers, LA, Columbus, Nashville, Islanders, Sens, Vancouver, and the Canadiens all scored 7 or 8 goals, and 6 of those games were 7-2. Like, wow. I don't know if anyone noticed there were a lot of 7-2 games last week and thought, damn, there's a lot of 7-2 games last week. There were 6 of them. Like,
wow.
Plus the Leafs 6-2 game, plus some 8-2 games. Like, it was a really high scoring week. This is what I mean. It's garbage time. You got teams that are literally trying everything to get into these last wildcard spots, and a couple teams that are like, let's rest Patrice Bergeron tonight. Thanks for letting me know as the game starts when it's fucking fantasy playoffs, you dicks.
Right.
Tell us how you really feel, Johnny.
How do I really feel? I feel that the only reason that Steph beat me this week is because Patrice Bergeron got benched last minute and she beat me in goalie stats. Everything else I won in. I'm so mad.
Oh, I know.
Whoa. How can you say that's the only reason she won if you won in all the other categories already? Bergeron's not a
because
goalie.
the only one outside of the goalie stats was plus minus, which wouldn't have happened had I not. She beat me in 2 by plus minus and the goalie stats, which would not have happened if I had somebody playing in Patrice Bergeron's spot.
I am having the worst fantasy year I've ever had in my life. So let me have this win in our $25 league because all of my other fortunes are gone. Okay.
I'm only still alive in the 50, so I guess I'll take it.
I missed the 50 by 1 point.
Oh no!
And
I'm in first in the free one, so I got the bye until this week. So
yeah,
see how I do.
Oh wait, I'm facing you on the Inside the Rink league. It's a free league, but we're head to head this week. We had our bye week last week for being so damn good. Well, me. I don't know about you.
Oh no, I've been doing good.
I'm not used to playing this first round of playoffs, guys. Like my record's really great in fantasy this year. It just took a major hit, and I'm really pissed about it. So sorry, I was MIA for the last couple of days. I've been crying in my bed.
It looks like you're going to beat me because I am down Kirill Kaprizov and Ilya Samsonov and Logan Thompson. So
damn.
Yeah, I think you're going to win.
Hey,
we don't have
it's
IR
still Monday.
With that attitude, of course she is.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have IR plus spots. I can't even pick anybody up. I just have these, basically gone players.
Drop Thompson.
Speaking of gonzo players, it's one thing to get an update on your phone that one of your fantasy players goes down. It's another thing to watch Matt Duchene's hand explode in the middle of the game and go, well, I guess I'm dropping you from 3 teams because you're not playing until next year. Holy shit, that looked bad.
Right. And JT had a painful slosh in the hands. I think Matthews got...
No, the puck hit him.
What
JT got a puck to his hand while he was getting checked from behind.
Yeah.
It looked weird. They had to go back on the replay a couple times because the first time they thought it was from the check behind him, and then they noticed that the shot hits him as he gets pushed out because he was trying to deflect it, and the guy pushed him into the shot. Weird. So it hit his wrist or something, but he was back thankfully, and he scored, which was great.
So,
but man, Duchene took that one shot to his hand, immediately takes his glove off, and just like holding his hand up, it looked like the bad hand from Scary Movie. Sorry.
How can I forget? Now I will never ever forget. So with all these potential injuries, right? And then Matthews got sacked in the nuts so hard he couldn't even stand during his interview after the game on Friday or Saturday night. Do you want to rest some players, kind of like what Boston is doing right now? They sat Marchand, they did Bergeron, they're still winning games. I know we have a shit ton of D, but do we do it with the forward group or play them with Ryan O'Reilly when he returns, or what?
I think just because they've been shifting lineups so much with O'Reilly out, I don't think you can afford to really rest anybody right now. I think you need to get them all in playoff mode. Boston has been just on another level, right? Like they have the depth and the kind of god tier status this year. Like they clinched the playoff spot already. They know who they're playing. Well, they don't know who they're playing, but they know they're playing whoever's in that last wild card spot. I think it's a little more important for the Leafs in Tampa to fight it out for home ice, and the Leafs to maintain a good streak going into the playoffs. So I don't see them doing it. I mean, resting Riley is, I think, the closest you're going to see to that.
I think it comes down to if anybody's battling anything that we don't know about. Like you look at last year, even the last game of the year against Boston, I think Marner and Matthews both sat.
Yeah, the last game is different.
No, but like if someone's battling something, like Matthews is just looking completely himself now. Yes, defensively he's still been there. His skating's been good, but his shot and his hands are looking like the Matthews we know now because he's had to play through a whole bunch of nagging things. So I think he's fine. Marner's been crazy all year. Maybe he would want a game or two just to kind of make sure he's 100%.
Well, especially because the last 2 games of the Lightning and Rangers, I mean, they're probably going to be doing the same. Like, you're not going to be going against the entire Rangers lineup that last game, like, or Tampa for that matter.
It kind of feels like Matthews was bored one day and looked at his phone and saw, oh shit, I am tied 13th most in goals with Clayton Keller, Verhaeghe, Bro Horvat, and Kempe. Like, this has to change. I don't know. The last couple of weeks he just turned it on and looks like he wants to directly score goals. I don't know what it is, but I'm like,
he turned it on.
Yeah. a lot of guys are scoring high amounts of goals this year. I mean, there's already a handful, like 10 players in the 40 plus category. I don't know. They're really adding up.
Yeah. I'm just, once O'Reilly comes back, the amount of depth these guys are going to have, I'm not really concerned about any individuals scoring, especially now that we've said, like, if Kerfoot's got his shot back like this, and if Yarncrow can shoot like this, man, I don't care who puts the puck in the back of the net, just win the game. Which comes to the last thing I want to talk about here, which is goaltending, because Joseph Wall had a great showing. I was really hoping he'd be able to hold on to a shutout so I could catch up to you in some points there and sneak out a win, but still holding on to the win for the Leafs there was not easy. It started out easy for him, and he was making some great saves all night, but really showed some resilience and towards the end of the game there. So what do you guys think is the future in the near future for Mr. Joseph Wall?
Only good things.
Like, so I guess, what do you think he's going to be seeing any ice time in the next little bit? Do you think come playoff time it's just thank you for your services, we'll see you next season? What do you think?
I think it's completely wide open. Like, not that... Okay, I got to be careful how I say this because I've been pro Murray all season. I love the guy. He's had his battles and his struggles all year. At the end of the day, he is our goalie who has won cups. So you have to give him some benefit of the doubt that come playoff time, he'll be able to tighten up the deficiencies he's had in his game. That being said, he's allowed a lot of goals lately. So the fact that you have Joseph Wall coming in and doing what he's doing now, showing the skill and the game that made you, take him in the first place, that made you want him to be a part of your organization, because he's been a highly touted prospect for the Leafs for quite a while. I touched on it in the goalie episode I did with Marty at the beginning of the season on his podcast. He's had a long run of bad luck when it comes to injuries. So that's why we haven't really seen too much of him before now. But he's played 19 games in the AHL for the Marlies this year. He's got 16 wins in 19 games with a .930 save percentage. He's played 4 games for the Leafs. He's got 3 wins with a .934 save percentage. The kid has played phenomenal. And if you look at how he played last night against the Predators, he's got all the pieces. Like, all the pieces. It shows why he was such a valuable prospect. He's got the poise. He's got the athleticism. He's got the never quit work ethic that even when he is down and out, someone dekes him out, he's still flopping around, getting anything and everything he can in front of it to save it. So he's got everything you want to see. He's just got to have that consistency. If we go into the playoffs, if Sammy's not 100%, and if Murray can't show anything, I don't think Keefe would hesitate for a second to throw a Wall in there.
It's funny, just to touch back on the Nashville broadcast, they called, when they were introducing him, they called Joseph Wall the young goaltending phenom of the Maple Leafs organization, and they start listing off his AHL stats and everything, and I'm like, this is not how he's being introduced on Sportsnet right now, guaranteed. They're talking about how they have no idea who's going to start now between Murray and Samsonov, and I can't believe Joseph Wall is even playing right now.
Yeah,
and it's just like, oh, what a great prospect the Leafs have in this guy. Excited to see what we've got tonight. It's like
Chris Cuthbert called him Hall.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I do honestly, I wouldn't be completely shocked if he saw some action in the playoffs.
I would be comfortable with it. He's shown that he's steady in the net, and the only reason why we've seen Shalgren as much as we have is because of Wall's injuries. He would be in the show, the third person up, if he wasn't so injured. But honestly, after coming back, he's been so solid, and even against high-scoring teams, it's just, Nashville, what can you say about them? It's just Joseph Wall coming in after so long and sitting on the bench and just watching and waiting. And he's matured a lot. I don't know. I feel confident with him, guaranteed. Way more than Shalgren I've ever felt. And we were really, really impressed with him at one point in time, right? And
looking back on the stats, I can't believe Shalgren's played 10 games this year.
Yeah.
Season. Like I can't even remember any of them. It's crazy.
We didn't have a healthy Samsonov and Murray together till like the holidays or after New Year or something.
That was the Walla days.
So honestly, if Murray, like you said, Biehn doesn't tighten it up, like these hot and ready pizzas, or you can't seal the crease and these too many little mistakes, I wouldn't trust it immediately again. Like if you go like the third or fourth game, like I wouldn't go that far. I would give Joseph Wall a chance.
Yeah.
Deal. And just real quick, I want to jump over to touch back to the wild card race. This is good for Ottawa. Montreal just beat Buffalo.
Ooh.
So another one in that Atlantic race takes a hit, which is awesome. Colorado's losing to Anaheim, and Edmonton is tied with Arizona.
Nice.
What an interesting night. So we should figure out what scenario for the next episode has to happen for Ottawa to make it in here. Or I can kind of just pull it up here. So they're what? With that loss, I mean, they've got...
They need at least 3 good wins and a lot
They
of people
still
to not
have
win.
9 games left, according to this. This might not be updated.
According to NHL.com, they've who are you using? ESPN again or
Fox Sports?
Even worse.
According to NHL.com, they have 8 games left, and they're sitting at 77 points.
There we go.
5 behind Pittsburgh.
Tied with Buffalo. Buffalo has a game in hand. And Pittsburgh has a game in hand. It's like the slimmest of margins that the Sens are still in it. The slimmest. Honest to God, if I'm being completely honest, I want Pittsburgh to hang on to that final wild card spot, because what would be better than to see the old boys of Crosby, Malkin, and Letang knock out the Bruins in the first round?
Oh, that would be a fantastic matchup, and I would much rather that than see the Bruins get to just steamroll through Florida.
Florida's not making it. Are you like, there's no way.
Well, they're only 3 points back of Pittsburgh, so...
Pittsburgh's got a game in hand, too, though.
I know.
Like, I know you have to win the games in hand, but Florida had the opportunity, and they have just completely pissed it away.
Yeah, I mean, losing to both
everybody,
Leafs and Sens, and yeah. What are they in their last 10? They're 5-4-1. Jesus, guys, that's not how you make a playoff.
They lost 4 in a row.
Yeah.
That being said, Tampa's lost 4 in a row as well, but...
And the Leafs have not gone more than 2 games without getting a point this season.
Yeah, it's like, well, yet again, garbage time. They've been win 1, lose 1 for a little while now, right?
Mm-hmm. They're 6-3-1. Boston's on a 7-game winning streak. Get the fuck out of here, guys. So annoying.
Right.
Anyway.
But I saw a post that was highlighting the road streak for Tampa, the Leafs, in Boston, pretty much saying that home ice seems to matter the most this year, because Tampa and the Leafs, their record's not good for home and away wins. I'm trying to get it up here in 1 sec, but
Toronto's 19-13-4 away, and Tampa's 17-19-1.
Yeah.
So,
Get home ice.
Yeah.
Get home ice.
Well, right now the Leafs have a 7-point lead with a game in hand. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I think we're locked.
Yeah.
All right.
That's good.
Can I touch on some Leafs prospects going into their playoffs and that before we log out here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ty Voigt finished second in OHL scoring with 24 goals and 81 assists.
Damn.
And him and his Sarnia Sting have game 1 this Friday versus the Guelph Storm.
Nice.
We have Fraser Minton in the WHL with Kamloops Blazers, and they start Friday versus the Vancouver Giants.
Nice.
Braden Kressler starts, they have their playoffs versus Saginaw, and Brandon Lisowski and Josh Pilar are against Bedard and the Regina Pats. And then we have 2 players in the Final Four for the NCAA and the Frozen Final Four. Matthew Nyes and Mike Coster. So that means that Nyes, the earliest he can sign with the Leafs is April 9th, which would put him at about, 3 games left in the season?
April 9th would put him at 3 games left in the season.
Yeah. So the Final Four for the Frozen Four, we've got Minnesota, BU, Michigan, and Quinnipiac.
Interesting. We'll have to keep an eye on that. I would love to see if Matthew Nyes makes this roster before the end of the season.
So would I. At this point, though, I really want them to have a chance to win that championship because that was his goal going back to university. And if he could go into that, win the championship, and then come and play for the Leafs, I think it would be that much better. Also, last night, the Toronto Six win their first championship in club history.
Hell yeah, they did.
Winning the Isabel Cup with a 4-3 overtime win over the Minnesota Whitecaps. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, for anybody that hasn't had a chance to watch any of these games, like, it is very good hockey. There's no hitting, so a lot of people are, dragging their knuckles on the ground saying it can't be hockey, can't be hockey. No, it's just super fast paced and super skilled. Like,
nice.
It was a very good game. You have the winner scored by Teresa Vanasova, her first goal of the playoffs to clinch it in overtime.
Nice.
Oh, that's sick.
And with that win, there's only one professional sports franchise in Toronto that hasn't won a championship in the past 56 years.
Great.
Jays, Argos, Toronto FC, Raptors, Toronto Rock, Marlies, now the Toronto Six. Come on, Leafs.
Our time is coming. Our time is now.
Just don't say it's our year. Don't.
No. The Toronto Six, first Canadian team to win the Isabel Cup too. I found that really interesting. Damn. We got to get winning, guys. Like, we're doing well. We got a good PP, a good PK, good goalies. You just need some wins. Dubs. Starting on Wednesday, again against Florida. It was weird early in the season. We said the later 2 games are literally right at the end of the season, and it's a divisional rival, right? But, yeah.
Fun fact, do you know where the trophy for the PHF gets its name? The Isabel Cup?
Nope.
No.
She was the daughter of Lord Stanley.
Oh, shit.
Oh, cool.
That's really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm yawning because I'm tired, not because I'm bored.
I bore you that much. I get it.
Guys, Marner, most points as a Leaf through 500 games.
Damn. And also Tavares 150th as a Leaf in that Nashville game.
Yeah, there's so many different things that are popping up with these guys. It seems like every single game. You have the Leafs players to reach the playoffs in each of their first 7 NHL seasons. Borre Selming, Ian Turnbull, Dave Keon, Turk Broda, and now Matthews and Marner.
Damn.
Like, Matthews is 5 goals away from 300 for his career. That would put him at 5th all time on the Leafs. 5th.
That's insane.
He needs 5 goals the rest of this year to be 5th. That's mind-blowing.
We're lucky.
We're so lucky, and nobody grasps that right now. everybody's all, well, you shouldn't be losing to bottom teams, or this team isn't any better than it was last year. It's like, shut up and enjoy the team.
Yeah.
And really, if you are somebody who's just kind of gearing up for the playoffs, kind of, I'm not going to say bandwagon, but, maybe you're just starting to pay attention towards the end of the season here. You've been checked out for a little bit. Now's a good time to hop back into it, because these last 9 games are kind of a mini version of the entire season. We've got 4 really good teams, 4 bad ones, and 1 that's fighting for a playoff spot. So I think you're going to get a little bit of everything here. And like you said, we got some milestones to look out for. So stay tuned, as next game is Wednesday against the Panthers at 7:30. What do we think is going to happen here? Because the Panthers are the one that are fighting for a spot out of all of these. The others are kind of out.
I think they're going to be coming out hard again. But in reality, unless Tkachuk can drag them into the fight, I don't know if it's going to really do too much, because they are just stumbling their way through this attempt to try to get back into the playoffs. Like, it does not look good at all.
Yeah, he was a pest, of course, with Murray and even Matthews a bit there last game. I expect a high scoring game, actually, but it'll be interesting to see if excuse me, Samsonov returns, and his home record is elite, right? It's so great. Maybe this will help the Leafs if he's in net, and it's been a while for him. We'll see.
Speaking of Sammy's home record, did you see Murray's away record?
I did not.
Look at it.
It's pretty good, if I remember correctly.
Look at the contrast between their home and away records, if you can.
So
because
we have a home goalie and an away goalie. It's perfect.
We have a home goalie and an away goalie. It's kind of weird.
Sorry, I'm just trying to pull it up here. Murray.
Yeah, me too.
Murray's 9-6 on the road.
But what's the save percentage?
915.
Okay.
Exactly.
And it's an 880 at home.
Exactly. And Sammy's at home is like 936 or whatever, and his away is like an 880.
Okay, deal. That's the plan. And the second Murray screws up, it is wall time.
So that's it. Just play Sammy at home, Murray away, and we're good. We're good.
By the way, if anyone wants a chuckle, look at the tweet I retweeted of Ryan Reeves getting smelling salt. I don't know if anybody's seen it yet, but I actually almost laughed in the middle of our show because I have the highlights on in the background and it came up. It is absolutely hilarious.
I'll have to check that.
Yeah.
All right. We outie?
We're good?
Yeah.
Good night, everybody. Join us on Discord and on Twitter and on Instagram, and check us out. Video is going to be up on the Inside the Rink channel, not ours, just so you know.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Leafs Late Night, your night of post-game podcast. Available after every game on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, and more.
Hey, Marty.
Go 67s.
Toronto 6.
No, we're going to fuck Oshawa.
Fuck guy. No.